What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with my Week 10 wide receiver rankings video. These are half-point PPR rankings. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to beat your friends and family in fantasy football, bring home that fantasy title. Hit that subscribe button, get that edge and information, rankings, all that stuff. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want to help out that algorithm, if you have any start-sit questions, you can hit that like button. You can leave your comments in the comment section down below. Start-sits, trade advice, anything like that, and I respond to all comments. So your fantasy football hotline right there. But let's talk rankings. So number one, I've got Jamar Chase facing off against Houston. Monitor his health. We want to see if he practices today. That would be big. I imagine he kind of gets the day off. Maybe is limited tomorrow. But we will see. Just monitor that injury, obviously. If he doesn't play, he's on number one. It's two, Stefon Diggs. He plays Denver. He's been dynamite this year and should continue that. Three, Amon-Ra St. Brown against the Chargers. I think this is going to be a higher scoring game than people realize. I think Amon-Ra is going to be really good. That's why Keenan Allen I have at number 4 as well. I just don't really see either of these teams be able to stop these receivers. 5, Brandon Ayuk against Jacksonville. I think he is still going to be featured with Debo, potentially a little bit banged up. 6, CeeDee Lamb against the Giants. I just don't think that they're going to be passing the ball very much in the second half of this contest. That's why I have CeeDee at 6 and not 3 or 4. Debo Samuel, I have him playing Jacksonville at 7. Obviously, monitor his health. We're not sure if he'll even be back yet, but I think he will play. Kind of a rough slate for wide receivers outside of some of these top 5 guys, too. This week with buys and things like that. A.J. Brown on bye, other guys as well. Chiefs are on bye, Eagles are on bye. There might even be more teams. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. Chris Olave plays Minnesota. Olave had that bounce back like last week. They've been pretty good on the ground, so I do expect them to throw the ball a little bit more. And I expect Carr to go back to Olave. I think he's going to continue to trust him. He's just such a talent. 9, Adam Thielen. He's been on a really good pace. Slowed down the last 2 weeks. I think he can get it going this week again. It's Chicago. 10, Michael Pittman Jr. against New England. He's been super targeted. I think they will try to take Jonathan Taylor out of the game and let Gardner Minshew beat them. Make Gardner Minshew beat them. 11, Mike Evans. He plays Tennessee. Tennessee's been a really good matchup for wide receivers all year long. 12, we have Nico Collins. C.J. Stroud's was an absolute stud. They play Cincinnati, so I thought that'd be a high-scoring game. DeAndre Hopkins is at number 13. He's been heavily targeted with Will Levis, and they played Tampa, who we just saw got exposed by C.J. Stroud. Their secondary's been pretty weak all year long. 14, Terry McLaurin. He plays Seattle. He's really gotten it going recently. You're putting him out there. 15, Davante Adams. If it wasn't for the Jets matchup, I do think he'd be higher. Obviously, the quarterback situation, the offense, I don't think really helps him necessarily. Although I do expect Aiden O'Connell to hyper-target him. And in matchups outside the Jets matchup, I think he would be much higher in my rankings. 16, Marquise Brown. He plays Atlanta. The nice thing for him is Kyler Murray is probably back. That provides a massive boost for him. We saw the target totals he was getting. I think those numbers are going to be pretty similar, and then you upgrade the quarterback massively. It's really good for him. 17, Garrett Wilson. He plays Vegas. Good matchup. Obviously, he struggled, but I think that is really just Zach Wilson. You got to hope that he can get it done based off volume and not efficiency, really, from his quarterback position. T. Higgins at 18, he plays Houston. Had a good game last week, bounced back. That's why he's one of the buy low guys. 19, DK Metcalf, he plays Washington. His usage has been outstanding these last few weeks, and he has not been able to come through for fantasy. This is as good a matchup as it gets, though, so I don't know if you can really sit DK on your bench, even if you're mitigating your expectations. And honestly, if DK just has a game like last year, like we knew he was capable of, he'd be a top 10 receiver that week pretty easily. Chris Godwin, he plays Tennessee. Another guy that's been targeted. The touchdowns haven't exactly come his way in bunches, but I really expect that to kind of bounce back, and Tennessee's a good matchup. Tank Dell, he plays Cincinnati. Like I said, high-scoring game. We saw what Tank Dell could do last week, going 4-14-2. 22, Calvin Ridley, he plays San Francisco. Ridley's all over the place, but like I said, this isn't the best week for wide receivers with matchups and things like that. He's coming off a 10-target game before the bye, so I think you can play him. DJ Moore, revenge game for him against Carolina. That's why I have him at 23, honestly, that narrative. I do expect Badgett to play and not be super good, obviously, so mitigate your expectations, but I think DJ Moore will have some special motivation in this contest on Thursday Night Football. 24, Deontay Johnson has been hyper-targeted by Kenny Pickett thus far this year. Plays Green Bay, though. I expect him to get more Jair Alexander matchup on him, just a harder matchup for him this week. 25, Tyler Lockett against Washington. Hasn't been what you hoped maybe for this entire season, but
Really good matchup for him this week. So if you're not playing him this week, I don't know when you really are. 26, Christian Kirk. He plays San Francisco. I'm pretty confident Christian Kirk. If you're going to attack San Francisco, it's through the air, and he's been solid so far this year. 27, Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper's been really good this year. Just tough matchup for him this week at Baltimore. But moving forward, I'm really high on him. Jordan Addison, he plays New Orleans with Josh Dobbs. Mitigate your expectations a little bit, obviously, from that top 10 guy he was, but he still should be a fantasy flex wide receiver 2 guy. Gabe Davis, he plays Denver. I know it was a dud game for him this last week. He has big games, he has dud games, but you still got to roll him out there because he can still explode. And then Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas plays Indy. The targets were there, got a few rushing attempts as well, so I think he's a solid flex play this week. Alrighty, if you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Fantasy Joe.